Oklahoma senator and author of the new book, Turnaround, America's Revival, James Lankford. Good morning, Senator. So the president said some of these were not exactly reciprocal because some countries couldn't handle it. So it's half the rate we're charging them. What do you make of the president's announcement yesterday?
It is actually. So he laid out and said, I'm going to do a 10% tariff on everybody across the entire world. And if it's higher than 10%, it's higher than 10% for a reason, because you put high tariffs on us. So if you want to get it to 10%, start negotiating, start dropping your tariff rates that are on American products, and it'll get down to the lower rate that the rest of the world actually pays. So it's an interesting little trade that he's putting out there and saying, hey, you want to get to this rate that your neighbor has? There's one way to be able to do it. Drop your tariffs on us.
Yeah, that's exactly what he's saying. And the president has centered rebuilding American manufacturing as the reason behind these tariffs. And we've seen a surge in countries ready to invest in American growth because of this. Are you saying this is all a negotiation tactic? Do you think there's an expiration date on this if these countries lower their tariffs?
Yeah, I think it's going to be one at a time. I think he's putting the 10% tariff on everybody across the world, saying we've got a major trade deficit. We've got an obviously enormous federal deficit that we have. And so he's laying a marker out there. I'm going to do 10%. You're going to eat part of it. We're going to eat part of it. And that's part of it. And then the other part of it is, hey, if you got a high tariff on us, start talking, and we'll figure it out. Now, I think there are some countries like China that they're going to face a high tariff for a very, very long time. Obviously, it's a communist nation. They've had major policy issues with the United States. In addition to that, the flow of fentanyl, the precursors are coming in from China on that. So the president's trying to be able to make that stop, make it stop right now.
Yeah, good point.
And if prices go up and you don't want to pay them, buy American. So, Senator, I do want to ask you about the resolution last night that the Senate passed 51 to 48. You had Republican senators Susan Collins, Mitch McConnell, Lisa Murkowski, and Rand Paul siding with the Democrats to end the national emergency that the president declared to put the tariffs on Canada. Now, that emergency was declared because of fentanyl. And you pointed out yesterday on the Senate floor that 10 years ago we had 700 people die from fentanyl. Last year was 87,000. I mean, what is your reaction to that Senate vote?
Yeah, I'm disappointed in it. Obviously, the House is not going to take this up at all. Obviously, the House is going to say we're going to ignore this. But the biggest issue I think people are missing is we're seeing a dramatic increase in Canada of fentanyl flowing in. The Canadians in 2020 they picked up 1,100 pounds of precursor chemicals for fentanyl. 2021, it was 11,000, literally a 10 times increase just in that 1 year. That is coming southbound to us. So the president saying we missed it 10 years ago, saying that the flow of fentanyl slowly started from Mexico. We're not going to miss it from Canada. We're going to stop it right now before it gets as bad as it is from Mexico.
Well, Senator, I want to turn now to your new book that's set to come out next week on the 8th. I know you've called it a challenge to all of us to be the people and the nation that we're supposed to be. Tell me a little bit about your new book and why you decided to write it now.
Yeah, it's a book I've actually been in the process of writing for 3 years on this. We talk a lot about policy, and policy is really important. Obviously, that impacts every single one of us. But first, we got to start with who we are as a people. That defines more than anything else on it. So I talk a little bit about policy. I talk a lot about faith. That's a big part of my personal life on it. But it's also been a big part of our national journey as well, to say, let's live the principles and the values that we really believe. If we want to turn around a nation, which we all do, we want to see a dramatic turnaround in who we are, then that starts with each one of us and our families. So I talk a lot about policy, a lot about us, talk a lot about American history, because I'm a bit of an American history junkie, like a lot of people are as well. But really, it's a challenge to us as a people.
I look forward to reading it. Senator James Lankford, thank you so much.
Information. Truth is freedom. Is Newsmax. It's real news for real people.